Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I'm your host, Author Vivian E. Moore. I just have to tell you how good it is to be back. And I do apologize that we've had 2 solid weeks to where we didn't have a show, but it was due to illness, my illness. And I'm still not 100%, but I am like 99.9%, so I'm almost there. And but I'm happy to be back today. I'm so happy because I have missed doing the show. I've missed talking with you guys. And so, that's not really a good start for 2020 for me. But at least we did have a full January and pretty much half of February. I was able to do the show. So I'm just happy to be back. This being the 29th of February. So I came back within the month. And so let's move on and get straight to today's show. All right. So the title of today's show, it just shows you how out of practice I am since I've not done it in 2 weeks. The title of today's show is 2020. And the topic is, what's your vision? A new year it's the Kickstarter for more than celebrations. It's a time for focus and to make new plans for your future. What are your goals for 2020? Is it the same old itinerary that maybe worked in the past? Even so, your vision should be far-reaching. It should cross boundaries and it should reach heights that exceeds last year's goals. Whatever your occupation or your career choice may be, don't limit your potential by limiting your sight, which affects your growth potential. Now, I know a lot of people, when you think of 2020, they think of, sight. They think of having perfect vision, all of those things dealing with 2020. But 2020 is also the start of this new year. And, we got to stir things up a bit. We got to do things a little bit differently than what we did last year and in years past, because you have to think about it. This is progression. We're in 2020. That's sort of hard to believe already, and it's a wonderful time to be the best that you can be. So you have to make the most of it. And, and speaking of vision, you have to stay focused. You got to keep your eye on the prize. And so what better way than starting 2020 with that perfect vision? We should be open-minded to change and to seek new ideas, which equals better opportunities, and expand on a plan that works by adding goals to the lists. Whatever your plans are for 2020, they should be dynamic. And don't be skittish about change. Change is good. Remember, progression is a superpower. So don't be afraid to take those necessary steps forward. 2020 is more than having perfect vision. I'll say that again, but also perfect insight. We need to be ahead of the game because the competition is fierce in just about every profession you can name. Now, I'm a writer, and so I'm speaking to writers, I'm speaking to artists, I'm speaking to authors. I'm speaking to everyone who have goals, who have gifts that you're utilizing. You need to know that you got to be better than you was last year, and you got to be better than the next person beside you, especially if you want to exceed, if you want to excel. You always got to be better than the next person, and 2020 is a great time to make that happen. You got to be clear-headed. You have to be goal-oriented. You have to think positive thoughts. You have to see yourself walking forward. You have to see yourself in that future sight, in at those future goals, and not just having those goals, but the completion of those goals. That's why I say you have to keep your eye on the prize, because, competition is not a bad thing. Competition is inspiring, and it motivates us to engage and use every ounce of potential we possess. How important are your goals? Trust me, everyone in this game has them because they are crucial for the win. And I want everyone to be winners. So check your plan, step up your game if necessary, and keep your eyes focused on the prize. Because 2020, for me, is a special year. A lot of things happened this year for me that I feel so blessed about, that I feel so empowered for. And not only a blessing for me, but I want to pass those blessings on. And so doing these shows, about having your vision, having everything that you need in at hand, and and checking your list, adding things to that list that maybe you didn't have on there last year, setting that bar just a little bit higher, and don't be afraid to extend yourself, because sometimes you have to step out of that comfort zone in order to reach your goals, to get that win. I'm not a big sports fan, but I watch sometimes on television, whether it's football, basketball, or things like that, and I see how those guys, how determined they are. They are so talented too, but I see how focused they are. Because this is what they do for a living. And so, they have to be the best at it, because they know that sometimes you have players on the team that, I know there are no I's in team, but sometimes you have specific players on the team that is the strength of the team. They're the motivators of the team. They're the ones that get the big plays and things like that. So, you have to keep all of those things in mind. If you watch those games, if you watch those guys playing those sports, and you see how focused they are, they're not necessarily psyched up, but still, they have one thought in mind, and that thought is winning. They don't see themselves as losers, because if you give up before you even start, then there's really no point in trying. So when they get out there on the court or the field or whatever it is that they're doing, or whatever it is that you're doing, you have to see yourself as winning. You have to see it as already done. And that's what I want you to do. That is what this 2020 vision is about. It's about seeing things as already done. And just staying optimistic about it, staying motivated about it. Now, I'm not going to say that you won't have a few setbacks along the way, because I've had a few myself this year. But the thing of it is that you have to press on. You have to move forward. You always have to stay ahead of the game, and you need to plan. You definitely need to plan whatever it is that you want to do. If you're a writer, if you want to get more than 2 books out, a year, or if you want to get just 2 books out a year, some shoot for 1 book, depending on how long it takes you to write it. Especially if you're a serious writer, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get that done. But the thing of it is that if you want to put out 2 books a year, you can do it. It's possible, but you have to stay focused. You have to be determined. You have to have that determination, and you can't let anything else get in your way. You have to set goals. You have to have a solid routine. If you want to, to be able to do that, because I'm going to tell you, it's hard. It's very hard, because the process itself, it's more involved than just writing the book. There are other things that are necessary in order for this book to be, prepped and then made ready for demand. For the public. So there are a lot of things that go into this, and that's why it's so important to have a plan. Plan out what it is that you want to do, and if you follow those steps, then you'll be able to do that. So that's what 2020 is, and knowing what your vision is, because you need to know what your vision is. You need to know what the end game is, and it's okay to plan ahead, because sometimes you have to plan ahead. I know things happen, that can throw a wrench in your plans, but still you have to forge on, you have to keep moving, and just make sure that that you keep your eye on that prize. All right. So before I let you go today, guys, I want to make sure that that you're able to listen to Spreaker on all of these different platforms, but of course on Spreaker. And that URL is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. You can also follow me on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can just look up my name, Author Vivian E. Moore, and it'll take you straight to me. And also, you can go to my website, which is https://authorvivianemore.com. And if you follow my blog, I update it every week, and it hasn't been updated in 2 weeks because I haven't been able to do a show. But this script will be out there today, and that is https://vivianemore.blogspot.com. And also, if you missed today's live version of the show, don't despair, because there are many ways to listen to the show, because it's recorded. That's the great part about being able to be live and also record as you go. So on those other platforms, if you want to listen to Spreaker, let me find my little list here, because it's sort of it's under the pile of stuff. I have notes because I'm working on another book. But anyway, it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Podchaser, and also YouTube. You can YouTube the show and listen to it on there as well. And also SoundCloud, if I'm not mistaken. SoundCloud is also out there. You can listen to it on SoundCloud. All right, folks. So I'm going to let you go. Tomorrow is First Sunday, and it is Communion Sunday. And I hope you're planning on going to church and taking some loved ones and some friends and most definitely some children with you tomorrow. And remember to tell someone that you love them, because tomorrow is not always promised. Today may be the only chance you get to say that. So I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.